So by popular demand, the clipot, working with the clipot, the shadow side of oneself, exploring the inner recesses of the mind using the Kabbalistic system of the Qlippoth. Or there's some people say Qlippoth or Qlippoth. Oh, there's all sorts of ways of pronouncing it. I don't know which one's right. So now we'll start with Malkuth. Malkuth, as you can see on the Tree of Life, it's the one at the bottom. It's the physical manifestation. Now, typically, the planet Earth on the astrological side of stuff, Earth planetarily is attributed to Malkuth. It's not really correct, to be fair. Malkuth is manifestation. Every physical body, every physical thing of the universe is Malkuth. It's the manifest world, of which we're just a part of that. So symbolically, Malkuth will incorporate the material world that occupies us, our physical well-being, our possessions, our property, our home, our house, our income, all of those things. Now, if you're doing initiatory work, so you're working through the 10-degree system, on initiation to Malkuth, you should really be looking at getting your finances in order. Tidying your room, Jordan Peterson. Keeping house, getting your life in order, starting to reduce the chaos of your life, bring some form and orderly nature to it. Fix any health issues. If you're overweight, lose weight. If you're unfit, get fit. All of that kind of stuff. Start paying off your debts. Get your house in order, basically. So now, how would we work with the clipotic force? Now, these are the whisperers. Depending on which tradition you follow, the demonic form, because we can personify, anthropomorphize the concept. It's the whisperers. There's a Hebrew thing for it. I don't know how you pronounce it. Or it's Lilith. Now, Lilith just keeps recurring, actually, in a lot of the lower Sephiroth as the attributed demonic or clipotic force. Attribute what you wish. Essentially, I mean, the Wiccans get very excited if you mention Lilith. Have you noticed? They all love that because it's the feminine goddess or whatever. It's not, eats babies and stuff. Not good. What we're working with here, though, is the inversion of Malkuth. What is the dark side of that? So this is basically, you know, the old story of selling your soul to Satan. It's the old Faust thing. You meet the devil at the crossroads and he does you a deal. He will give you opulence and avarice. He'll give you wealth and the ladies or the men, depending on... you have everything you could possibly want. Fame and fortune, everything comes good. You just have to pay the price of your soul. The old classic Faustian deal with the devil. Now, the devil isn't attributed, actually not attributed anywhere. We have to bear in mind that concept of the devil doesn't actually exist anywhere in these things. This is a modern, very recent innovation and creation, partly fed by pop Christianity, for want of a better term, but also through mythology and storytellings and so forth, movies and so forth. It's not so much the temptation coming from this devil... That it's not the temptation, that's not the component, because the temptation's everywhere. It is our drive to accept the deal. It is our drive to quest for opulence and wealth and luxury and all of those things. Now, is there anything wrong with opulence, wealth, luxury? Of course there isn't. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. But, we have some variables within how people behave with these things. Some people will have wealth at all cost, any cost, to somebody else. They don't really care about the consequences of any business deal or anything they do. You know, those weirdos that come and offer to tarmac your drive and do a crap job and charge you a fortune. The people who go and buy antiques of elderly ladies or do work on their roof or gutters and they don't actually do anything. The people who service your car, but they just swap out all your components for old components. You know, the sort of stuff. The basic criminality around a business. Now, it's not the criminality itself. That's not it. It's the drive for that. Now, a lot of people, this starts to come into a question of morality. So should we become the communist socialist? Doesn't work. Should we do that? This notion that we don't get wealthy off the backs of other people's labour. Well, fair pay for a fair day's work, I say. got to be realistic, because without that system, things fall apart. So now the question is, where do we draw a line? And this is the key thing. It's not about conforming to an imposed ideal. So one person's level of comfort, which enables them to survive, to then go out and do good in the world, is going to be very different to somebody else's. We're not having to conform to some external textbook Leninistic, not even thing, Stalinistic, thing that tells us what we should do. We have to find that within ourselves. We have to question our own kind of morality, and it's not really morals, is it? It's the drive for it. Some people, when they go into a social setting, they place all attention on themselves. They're the anxious ones. They go in and suddenly feel a bit of a panic. They suddenly feel a bit of everyone's looking at me. No one is. No one is. I'm going to argue that, not the panic, the placing attention on oneself, thinking that they are the main character of this social drama that is not even playing out anywhere except in their imagination. The drive to do that is a Malkuthian, if that's even a word, thing. Some people will, it's vanity. The internet's full, social media is full. Channel 4 in the UK is full of these sort of TV clips of people with, dear God, baboon lips and cheek implants. And, I've got the hourglass figure because I've spent 6 figures on having all my ribs removed. Doesn't happen. There's lots of stuff where people, I paid 6 figures to look like Ken doll or Barbie. Or what is wrong with people? Well, what's wrong with people is that is the clipotic forces of Malkuth taking hold. And they have given into it. They have bought into an entirely superficial, material life. Love Island. The TV shows, I'm not disrespecting entertainment, but there is those things that people do as a stepping stone in business, or they're building their career, and there are those people who are rightly represented by the vacuosity of those TV shows. They have abandoned any spiritual pursuit. They have abandoned any psychological, personal development, emotional stuff. It is me, 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 me. It is a low IQ, fairly harmless narcissism that takes hold of them, and they just sell their soul for an entirely material, empty life. There's a lot of this. And our culture, in part, encourages this too. We reward the people with those massive great lips or those enormous other things. There's just the bizarrest stuff is what gets attention. It's what gets the clicks. It's what gets the advertising revenue, the interview fees, the podcast appearance fees, and so forth. There's a lot of stuff where people will completely hollow themselves out for the material world. Now, we can't deny the material world. This is not about becoming the ascetic, where we withdraw, we wear sackcloth, and we beg in the streets. Because there are people who do that in the quest of spirituality. Yeah, sure, let everyone else do all the work. Yeah, I've always said it's really easy to be spiritual when everyone else has to go and work for a living. There's something about that I've never felt particularly comfortable, although I understand periods of time of retreat and so forth. But we have to work in the world. We have to be part of it. We can't just completely withdraw and leave all the responsibility to everyone else. That's not how things work. Although it does seem to work for some people. But I would argue that is also an element of the clipotic force. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. The clipotic forces of Malkuth. So this is essentially the material world taking priority and precedence over every other aspect of our lives. You will see people, I've seen this over the years with so many families, so much so, I wonder is actually the norm, that you have the wealthy relative die and then the knives come out. It is a free-for-all and backstabbing and nastiness over all of the stuff, who gets what, and I deserve this, you don't deserve that, and families fall apart. People who plunder their elderly parental financial money pot and pocket the cash themselves. They get people to change the will in their favour over other people. This sort of stuff. People will absolutely sell their soul for material gain. And this is a very, very bad thing. So how do we use Malkuth, the clipotic forces of Malkuth, in order to work on oneself? It is to examine your material world. Go and have a look in your house. Go and have a look around. If you had an important person, that person you fancied if you're single, or maybe not, but you had a person who would just appear, would you suddenly go, oh, I'd better tidy up? Okay, start tidying up. Or accept that's how you live and stop that falsity. Go one way or the other. Don't let things slip and slide and fall apart around you. Start to look at where do these things start to come to your conscious awareness? What triggers them? How much money is in your bank? Are you embarrassed by that? If you are, why? Explore that. Are you embarrassed to talk about money? Do you ask for money back if you've lent it? Do you give it back if you borrowed it? Why and why not? Explore those things. Have you got health issues that are just slipping by and you're just ignoring them? You're just hoping it'll go away? Get it fixed. Do you imagine? Do you catastrophize things? Do you do all that kind of stuff about the world? Are you running campaign causes on behalf of other people? It's been very popular in the recent woke era of especially white liberals hijacking what is essentially minority causes and making it their own. Wow, I'm an ally. And they ruin the cause of the people actually affected by some of those issues. There's lots and lots of stuff where people act in the world as a cover for their own stuff. I guess the key thing here is you've got to be honest. You've got to be honest with yourself. You've got to be honest about what you're doing. Honest with everything in the material world. Now, I have a little checklist here I just want to read through because I think there's some additional components that are worth just mentioning. All right, so if we just go through psychological expressions of Malkuth, we're looking at, say, material fixation. That's largely what I've been talking about up until now, where your self-value is tied to wealth, possessions, and or appearance. Your inner value is merely, look at me, I've got a Rolex watch. Look at me, I drive this car. I'm better than you. That kind of stuff. Okay, if you're 16, okay, we got to let that one go. But if you're not 16, you're getting older than that, it's time to grow up and grow out of those things. I remember kids at school, if you have the wrong type of trousers, the wrong type of trainers, you wore the wrong brand. My goodness, you heard about it. This is highly competitive materialism in younger people. I get it. But we don't want to be doing that if we are working on ourselves to develop. Okay, disconnection from embodiment, either hypermaterialism or dissociation from the physical body. Now, this is not uncommon. This is not uncommon. Dissociation from the physical body. What do I mean by that? Some people are dead emotionally from the chin down. They have shut off all emotions. They've shut them off. Some people, they go the other way. They're too hyper-emotional. Way too much feeling of the world through the body. Getting some kind of balance here. Now, what about addictions? How many people are managing their emotional state through their nicotine, their alcohol, their drugs, and so forth? These are other things you've got to consider too. So get control of that sort of stuff. If you're a smoker, by the way, this is a thing. If you're doing any form of spiritual development, if you're working through the initiatory system and you drink too much alcohol, you take any drugs, or you're an addicted smoker, I do not believe you have right to initiation until you can sort those things out. I think no one should be allowed to go through the grade system if they are still addicted or dependent upon substances. Even if they're writing up, oh no, I just do it at weekends because I'm very spiritual and I like to explore things, man. No. I think people should get control of these things way before. I think it's an important thing. Although your mileage may differ, I know there's plenty of people who will disagree with me on that one. And that's fine. That's fine. This is just my subjectiveness of this. All right, what else we got in here? Projection and rumor. Now, this is actually quite a nice one because I think most people can relate to this, especially when we're younger. Autobiographical. Gossip and rumors. If you're a person who takes a rumor and repeats it, oh, don't tell anyone I heard. Or you just go, I've heard that somebody said blah, blah, blah about such and such. Well, you are now a rumor mongerer, unless you have fact-checked that and so forth. If you're somebody who casts false narratives, now you're really you're being possessed or in possession of this clipotic force. If you're somebody who spins false narratives, if you tell lies about your enemies. Now, this is something we'll see this in the political domain. I see this quite a bit, and it does annoy me. So it doesn't matter if you're left-wing. If you repeat a lie about your favourite, say, Trump or right-wing politician, and you repeat that lie because it suits your narrative and you enjoy that, shame on you. If you're a right-winger and you share false narratives about particular figures on the left, shame on you. Because you now cannot be trusted about anything. If you are willing to lie to defame your enemy, then you have failed. You have utterly failed. And this is a really important thing. But it's very easy to get caught up in the narrative, get caught up in the zeal of it. Yeah, don't do that. The internet fosters this mindset. The internet, especially social media, really encourages the greater the extreme story, the more likely it is to be shared. The more it is to be taking a figure and demoting that figure in some way, denigrating them, yeah, that will get shared around. Don't be one of those people. And be willing to call out your own people when they spin false narratives. It's not a popular move, but we need more of this going on. Right, victim persecutor stuff. Feeling oppressed by the world while simultaneously reinforcing the conditions of entrapment. There's a lot of people who do this. I think they're called narcissists. The morally superior victim. Now, I understand there's business and marketing angles to some of this, depending on what your business is. It's certainly something I have used. But if you are a person who forces the victim position the entire time in your dynamics and relationships, yeah, you're not doing very well. You want to sort that one out. Address it. Sort it out. Right, behavioral and energy stuff. Right, addiction to comfort and sedation. Some people, they just cannot do an evening unless they've got a bottle of wine in them. They cannot go anywhere or do anything unless they're sedated in some way. People sedate themselves in all sorts of ways. If you're in the infinite scroll, social media, infinite scroll, don't do it. Stop it. What else we're looking at? So a lot of these we've covered. Self-sabotaging. This I see a lot. In the work that I do and dealing with coaches and therapists, the volume of self-sabotage is the norm. It's not the exception to the norm. It really is. It really is the norm. Here's what happens. People say they're going to do something. They come up with a plan. They will occupy my time and time of other people around it, and then they never do anything. You never hear from them again. And then I can hear from them again. I say, don't hear from them. I do a year later, same conversation again. I have got people I know in my life who, for the last 10 more years, I can pretty much wait. They'll contact me in a while. I'll have the same conversation I've been having with them for the last 10 years. Yep. Don't be that guy. If you're going to do something, do it. If you're not going to do it, don't do it. Use the expression, shit or get off the pot. Do one thing or another. Don't just play the game. There's too much game playing going on. And then what they're doing, of course, everywhere, I'm on the rants now, everywhere they go, they're letting everyone down because they're so incredibly unreliable. And they go, why doesn't my life work? Why is everyone else favoured over me? Shouldn't be thinking like that. Because there you go, you've sold your soul to the material world. Take some responsibility. Right, what else we got on this list? Addiction to comfort, sedation, food. That's the other one. I missed that one earlier. All right, so just the initiatory implications. Little list here. It represents the starting point of confronting the shadow of manifestation. So it is the beginnings to explore, pretty much the material stuff, as I keep saying. And test ability to discern the real from the unreal, substance from glamour. It's one thing that is very, very common mistake people make. If I'm famous and rich, I will be powerful. Those things don't go together. Power doesn't depend on being rich or famous. Doesn't. And some of the people who are the richest and most famous have no power whatsoever. And it's that sort of holy trinity of seduction from the devil at the crossroads at midnight to bring you in. Will you sell your soul for that? And if you crave power, what are you craving it for? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do? What are you going to do with it? Most people, you still have to live in the world. It amazes me that what people will do with power that they have. Most of the time, they don't do very much at all. They just acquire more money, more money, more money. Yeah. And what else we got here? Requires reclaiming embodiment, agency, and groundedness before descending the tree. Yeah, as previously described. And is often approached as the purification of one's relationship with matter, survival, and identity. So I think this is all really just basic stuff. You've got your 7 deadly sins, all that kind of stuff. There's lots and lots and lots of stuff written about this. I think it also means people have to be willing to give up their laziness. My observation, again and again and again and again, I know I overgeneralize, but this one isn't. The majority of people are fundamentally lazy. When it comes to making an effort, when it comes to self-discipline and actually engaging in practice, they can't. There's Love Island's on the telly and their sofa's really comfortable and it's nice and warm in the living room. Why would I want to go and do those? You've got to overcome the laziness. I think that should be an entity unto itself. Anyway, that's all for now. Comment section below, you know what to do. Any additions, any corrections, any disagreements, stick them in there. Oh, and click the like button. Do appreciate that. So does the algorithm.